Debate, everyone. Stephen A. Smith had a sit-down interview with Dwight Howard after he was officially introduced as a Houston Rocket. Stephen A., you went there, and Dwight specifically had a message. So let's listen.
I'm a winner. Having a ring doesn't classify you as being a winner. I'm a winner because I'm successful in my life. I'm a winner because I've been in the NBA for almost 10 years, when the average career of an NBA player is 3 years. I think, to me, that's winning and being successful. I have a gold medal. That's winning. Just because I don't have a ring, it does not define who Dwight Howard is.
All right, let's phrase it this way. Stephen A., what did you take away from your interview with Dwight?
I took away from it, Skip, that he's incredibly happy with his decision. He's incredibly relieved to be someplace that he actually wants to be. It is clear he didn't want to be in Orlando. It is even more clear and more conspicuous that he did not want to be in Los Angeles. He didn't want this situation. Loves the city. Flew right back here the minute he finished with his press conference in Houston. We'll be working out here during the week with some of the guys associated with the Houston Rockets organization. His problem is not Los Angeles. His problem is not the city of Los Angeles or the people who live here. His problem was the Lakers organization. He just didn't believe it was the ideal place for him moving forward. When you are happy and when you are content, and more importantly, when this is a decision that you brought upon yourself as opposed to somebody imposing it on you, I think it goes a long way, because I think that the excuses are out the window. I think the onus, the culpability, the responsibility is on his shoulders. I think he's fully embraced it, not just accepted it, but embraced it, because he is in a situation where he believes he's going to be assisted and helped, whether it be with Kevin McHale and Akeem Olajuwon, who will both be working out with him, and he feels good about that, or having James Harden, and knowing that he and James Harden are the cornerstones of this Houston Rockets franchise, and it's up to those two to lead the way, and clearly he's been handed that baton. I think I find a guy, and I sat across from a guy, and I talked to a guy that I believe is incredibly comfortable with his decision. But let me be very clear, this last part. He is entitled to his opinion about what winners are, and so are we. The one part where he and I adamantly disagree is, to me, it's the ring and everything else.
Exactly.
You know, and I definitely disagreed with him about that, but I think it's clear he made the right decision for himself. And more importantly, it was a sensible decision, because I do think the Houston Rockets have a greater upside, and he seems incredibly happy, and who are any of us to say otherwise?
Terrific interview.
Thank you.
Good job by you.
Good job.
Dwight really opened up to you, I thought. I was riveted. I found Dwight to be extremely candid, and sometimes painfully so, almost self-deprecatingly candid, maybe unconsciously so. Because, Stephen A., that quote that we just saw, the winner quote, I'm a winner because I've been successful at life, because I've lasted 10 years in the NBA, that perfectly summed up Dwight Howard to me. And it validated my issue for years and years now on this show with Dwight Howard. That issue is unfixable. It's uncoachable. It's unteachable, because Dwight is exactly what he is, and how he came across in your interview. His drive to win that ring does not match his talent, and it never will. Bottom line, he wasn't blessed with MJ's rage to win, with the supreme superstar's rage to win, the rage we saw in Shaq and in Kobe and in Dwayne Wade, even pre-LeBron, the rage to do whatever it takes to win, to spend an offseason learning low post moves so I can figure out how I can dominate. He says he dominates offensively. He has only scratched the surface of what he could do offensively, to learn to make the free throws. We could go on and on. But as Dwight said, he just wants to be happy. And I think, as you said, he's extremely content with his new situation. He just wants to play the game that he loves without extreme pressure to live up to Lakers standards, opposite Kobe Bryant. And he wants to laugh and he wants to clown. He wants to make absurd money, which he does. He likes the attention he gets, But in the end, he wants to win only if it happens to happen. If his team around him plays well enough that, oh, we won. Great. So in the end, Stephen A., he wants his critics to leave him be and accept him for who he is. And I do. That's Dwight Howard. He came clean to you. He showed you his heart right there. That's why I've concluded he will not change life for the Houston Rockets, because you cannot count on him to take over a team, to be the face of a franchise, as your Lakers were expecting him to replace Kobe. He can't replace Kobe Bryant. He's not made of that kind of stuff, and I respect that. I accept that. He showed you his heart, Stephen A. He said, this is who I am. Accept me, and I do. So my expectations for Dwight are very low.
You know, it's interesting that I'm thinking about some things as you just brought that up. And I'm not saying I totally disagree with you, but I got to tell you something. Number one, he did acknowledge, he used the P word when he talked about getting ticked off watching other guys win a championship and how it's difficult for him to watch postseason games. To his credit, he did acknowledge that. He did talk about how, you know, he doesn't enjoy watching the playoffs because he's not trying to lose. I have never looked at Dwight Howard on the basketball court and thought he was intentionally trying to lose. No. I've never saw a shortage of effort. And I think that the illustration that needs to be put out there to highlight the dichotomy that exists between himself and other champions that have that rage inside of them. You're absolutely right about that. But here's the thing that can't be ignored about Dwight Howard in this particular Houston situation. With the Lakers, the pressure of tradition and the expectations that come with that, I believe, even though he didn't acknowledge that, I believe that's where the problem lies.
Sure.
I don't think he has a problem with the expectations of the Houston Rockets, because it's not like people look at them as go like this. Sure. We had Akeem the Dream Olajuwon, and now you got to be that guy.
I agree.
It's a different kind of pressure. I think the kind of pressure he's on now is the Houston Rockets saying, commiserate with your talent. Your level of production, the things that you have done that we know you can do. This is what we need in order to win a chip. Can you do it? And I think he's comfortable with that, and that's an entirely different pressure than going to a franchise where the tradition is there and the Mount Rushmore of big men, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars and the Wilt Chamberlains and the Shaquille O'Neals of the world, that kind of stuff, having to live up to something that you're not even sure if you want to be a part of, is entirely different than having to live up to a pressure that your talent, your individual talent, has established. I think Dwight Howard can accept that. I think he can accept, excuse me, I was the best big man in the game when I was healthy. I averaged 20 and 12. Right. This is what I bring to the table. And Leslie Alexander, the owner for the Houston Rockets, have given him the indication, along with Kevin McHale and those guys, the guy that you were in 2009, 2010, that's the guy we're looking for. Obviously, you can get always, don't ever stop, always get better, but that's the guy we're looking for. And I think Dwight's comfortable with that. I think he's comfortable with that.
Good for him. I'm happy for him.
I made the case. So Stephen A. says Dwight loved the city, but didn't love playing with the Lakers. You say we've seen Dwight at his best. Doesn't get any better.
No,
Coming up next.
I don't believe that. I think he can get better.
Well,